when Sarah and I started, really collaborating,
Mm-hmm.
um, there was somebody who came back to the show who had not been there for a while, and
Mm-hmm.
I was told that they could be very difficult to deal with, and be careful, with just any interactions with that person.
Okay.
And I thought, oh, okay, I was like, oh, okay. And um, one evening, I was going to Sarah's trailer, and that person that I had mentioned that came back to the show happened to be in Sarah's dressing room, and Sarah introduced me to them.
Mm-hmm.
And I was, I certainly was glad to meet them. I didn't have any preconceived ideas, only what I'd been told, but nothing, that I had, experienced with this person. But I guess Sarah may have known that, it could go the other way,
Mm-hmm.
So she said, when she introduced me, she said, and this is Matt, and we love him. And I knew where that was coming from. I thought, oh, isn't she clever? Is what I thought. Isn't she clever? And she always was clever. She was smart as a whip. I mean, really, just smart. That girl was so smart. And I never had 1 ounce of any trouble of any kind from that person. Ever, ever. Mm-mm.
I love that. I feel like you were like,
Rebooting the franchise without Sarah and without Joss, and about, isn't it? Why don't you stop the self-deprecating jokes when he? She said, um, took me aside at one point, said, and you couldn't make the show without Joss. I remember years ago they talked about rebooting the franchise without Sarah and with you find great homes like Marvel Television.
So, one final question for you. Tell us something about working with Sarah Michelle Gellar.
I loved and respected Sarah Michelle Gellar so much, and she was so good at what she did, and nobody else was Buffy Summers. No one else I think ever could be. I think you couldn't make the show without Joss. I remember years ago they talked about rebooting the franchise without Sarah and without Joss, and I just thought, my God, I don't envy whoever takes that job. It just can't be done. And Joss created an environment where you got to not just write, but because we kind of envisioned everything, he let us direct as time went on, and that was pretty wonderful. And when I first started directing, I would make self-deprecating jokes about, isn't it funny that I'm directing? And Sarah took me aside at one point and said, Doug, come here. And I was like, oh, shit. Because, this can't be good. And, she's half my size and I'm about to get my ass kicked. And she said a very tough but really loving thing that stayed with me for a long time. She said, you're a really good director. 9 times out of 10, the direction you give is exactly what needs to be given. Why don't you stop the self-deprecating jokes when you come on set, give the direction, shut the fuck up, and walk off set. And that confidence will extend itself to the crew. And I was stunned, and I just instantly started doing it. And it was a night and day difference. And I've been doing it ever since. And amazing. Yeah, just the kind of, that she's this, I don't know how many times she's been reincarnated, but it was like the world's toughest gym coach, / Marine drill sergeant talking in this diminutive, pretty television actress's body. And she kicked my ass in exactly the right way. And I would say, and I think she would say, very lovingly, and, that was one way that you could really grow.
Okay, so something that's resurfaced is a lot of appearances that you've done on TV shows. Sarah Michelle Gellar posted about you being on Buffy. You were on Undressed, which I just found out.
Sarah Michelle Gellar posted about me?
Yes.
I need to get on the World Wide Web.
You're on
I need
Instagram.
to go online. I am on Instagram, but I guess I'm not scrolling enough.
You deleted your Twitter. Are you going to come back?
I don't think so.
That's okay. I get why.
Thank you.
I get why. But that's to say, if you could insert yourself in any show or TV show or movie or franchise of all time, which one would you want to do?
Where's the Sarah Michelle Gellar?
It's on Instagram. Look, I'll show it to you right now. Look. When Mother Met Father is what it says.
Oh my gosh.
What do you remember about that?
Everything. Absolutely everything. And I remember she had ice cream, and she had ice cream in her trailer, and she gave me some. She went back to her trailer, she got me some ice cream, and she shared, and it was because it was a night shoot. It was in the middle of the night, and we were on the UCLA campus. They hadn't built their college sets yet. And I actually had to, I was doing a play in Long Beach, and I had to miss opening night because we had to shoot this very, very short moment. I remember everything. I could go on and on and on. I could give you step by step every detail. I had to have lunch in the vamp mask, in vamp face, and she was incredibly kind. She taught me how to use a sandbag to hit my mark.